Hey guys, this video is in section. This is the third part of the video. Let's get into it. Hit the like button, the thumbs up. So let's go. Again, this is the interview between Genesis and Sean Davy Way. She shed light on a lot of things. She dispelled a lot of things. She opened up about her personal life from way back when to current, and also the relationship between her and Jaguar.
Now, Jaguar said online that she was the one who sent help to Legina and to get Legina out of there.
So I remember that when Jaguar said she sent help because she knows a lot of people all over Detroit. And she instructed her people to go get Legina. Come to find out, it was Genesis people. It wasn't Jaguar's people who went to get Legina. Genesis, in this video, said that the person she sent lived 10 minutes away from Legina at the time. So that guy went and got Legina. It was Jaguar's friend. So I don't know, Jaguar. You thought this was going to be swept under the rug and it would be a secret forever and ever. Amen. Honey, whatever you do in the dark must come to light. I don't understand why you keep lying. I don't know if any of you remember Jaguar saying that she's got people in Detroit and she dispatched her guy right away to go pick Legina up. Do you guys remember that? The Jaguar was saying, oh, her guy went to pick Legina up because she knows people all over Detroit.
So with her going in and out, to the psych ward at times and then to the back and forth to jail, after some of that stuff that went down, Legina came into your life. Now, Jaguar said online that she was the one who sent help to Legina and to get Legina out of there. But come to find out, it was actually you, correct?
Yeah, well, I got a call from Jack saying, hey, something happened to Legina. I need you to, somebody, about to get her. The way it sounded was you would think that there was, a task force on their way to come, some kind of mob, I don't know, come get her. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, my God. I'm thinking that there's, people watching her house and sitting outside of her house just waiting for the time to pounce. So I'm like, okay, well, I made a phone call to my friend and, I'm like, well, I need you to go and help this person. Tell her to just run to the car. I'm thinking that these people are about to come get her. The way the story was told to me, I'm thinking this is about to go down. Mm-hmm. So I said, listen, just run out to the car. He lived 10 minutes from her. So he pulled the car up. She ran out into the car. And then I'm still getting directions on what to do. Okay, well, tell her to take him to the Greyhound station. Okay, so I tell him, take her to the Greyhound station. And I'm like, in the meantime, do you guys have the ticket or what's going on? And she's like, well, we're getting the money for the ticket now. I'm like, okay. So, and then I'm still getting directions on what to do. Okay, well, tell her to take him to the Greyhound station. Okay, so I tell him, take her to the Greyhound station. And I'm like, in the meantime, do you guys have the ticket or what's going on? And she's like, well, we're getting the money for the ticket now. I'm like, okay. So that's when, I guess they were trying to raise the money to get the ticket, this, that, the other. And they sat out there for 4 hours. Finally, he was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. My son was on his way to do had to go to the hospital to do a procedure. And he's like, well, he was doing this favor for me, and he had a weapon on him. He's driving around the Greyhound thinking that people are following him because that's what we're being told, that this person, got somebody after him, And I'm scared. I'm like, okay, well, did she eat? I'm sending money for them to eat, making sure that they're okay and things like that. And then I guess at the same time, simultaneously, she's raising money with you guys, and then to pay the guy for driving her there and getting her there, And so I'm sending money to make sure that she eats. People are sending money to get her on the Greyhound to get to Dallas because whatever's going on in Detroit is about to go down, And
so you actually made the phone call to get Legina out of there, but you did it because you were told that it was dire. Her life was in danger and she needed to get out of there. So you called up one of your friends because you are well known within the Detroit area.
Sean Davy is laying it out. He's leaving no stone unturned. And I don't know if he and Jaguar are going to be friends after this. But like he said in part of the video, that he's not biased, it's just an interview. So he's doing his due diligence. He's not picking any sides. He's just doing an interview with Genesis. But since Genesis and Jaguar are enemies, I don't know if she's going to look at it that way. She might stop giving Sean Ivey interviews after she sees this particular video. But we'll see in the future, because she's such a ham for the camera and wants to jump on everybody's platform. I'm sure she's going to forgive him for not being loyal to her and interviewing her enemy.
You are well known within the Detroit area, and you had your friend go and pick Legina up, and he treated it as, she's in danger. So he was very, skeptical, drawn out, watching everything, walking past, driving past, anything like that, very nervous. And he ended up sitting there for 4 hours waiting because Jaguar was still raising the money to get Legina a bus ticket from the location that he brought Legina to. And in the process of him bringing Legina to said spot, you were sending him money on the road so that he and Legina could eat, correct?
Yeah, and sending money into I think I sent about $20 to raise the money to get the Greyhound, and then I also sent about $60 to go to her to take, because they've been sitting out there. It's like snowing in Detroit at this point. You know what I'm saying? So they're out in the cold snow. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, okay, well, rather than just sit there, why don't you? I don't know what's going on with this ticket. Go get something to eat. And so I sent the money for that.
So, like you said, you didn't know what was going on with the ticket, but with the money that was raised, she did end up paying your friend that brought Legina there, and she also did use that money to buy Legina a Greyhound ticket.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so she did actually use the money well that was given to her, because she did pay your friend for bringing Legina, and she also bought Legina the Greyhound ticket.
Yes.
Okay. So when Legina comes down and gets down there and whatnot, what was going on? Like what information were you getting, because you were interacting with these same set people?
I really, after she got here, that was the last I really heard from it until, I wasn't really involved at that point. Mm-hmm. After that, once she got here, that was all she wrote for me.
So after Legina came, Genesis is saying pretty much she washed her hand of the whole situation.
So, because there was a live that Jaguar did, and this is after Legina comes. So there was a live that Jaguar did, and you and Jaguar kind of had it out in that live. What happened that day? Because that was at your house, correct?
And so I was like, you know what? I know you talked to Jaguar. We should probably get in touch with Jaguar, because there was a whole thing about carbonation, and that they had did a whole interview on Bigo and this, that, the other, that when her and other people were doing interviews, that, with Shaka. And so we were all like, okay, well, maybe we should get back in touch with Jaguar.
I think Genesis forgot the question. The question was, what happened between her and Jaguar that day? Why the big argument? She started to talk about carbonation and getting in contact with Jaguar, so she forgot the question. Or maybe she was evading the question. She was trying not to answer because she didn't want to divulge certain things. That could be a possibility. That's why she sidestepped that question and went on to a different topic.
Maybe she could be able to, be a person, because I know that he toured with her with the OK Player tour, because I know that she was a part of the Roots at one point, and so she toured with them. So I said, well, maybe this would be a cool thing to bring her out to actually do the documentary, And so I got in contact with her to do the documentary, So that was the objective, is to okay, we want to bring some more shine for Baten. Let's do this documentary. And she was like, yeah, that sounds great. I love Baten. And honey, when she came, I met her, I had a dinner with her, and I'm like, she's reminiscing about Baten and this, that, the other. I told her what happened, because she didn't even know the background of what happened, you know. So once she found out that Shaka was involved, she wanted to come to my house and meet Shaka again, reunite with Shaka, and that's where the video came where she was singing to them, and she went live and, hey, I'm here with Shaka and this, that, the other, and so, you know, because Shaka had been, we're working on some things together. We have the Zulu Vision Network that we're working on, and we have like some other business at Refund Slayer. So we're coming together doing business, and we brought her into the fold. Okay, well, we're doing a documentary as well. Let's work together, you know.
Right. So that's how she came back into your life, because of the documentary on Aten. Is what y'all were doing. And
yes, yeah, the whole
that's for reconnecting with her. So
I was still waiting for her to explain why she and Jaguar were screaming at the house. That was the original question, but I guess she forgot the question and went on to talking about something else. It was either she forgot or she was evasive.
So would you like to give us a little detail on what happened? Because again, you're upset because she went on live yesterday and said that you basically killed your daughter's father. So, which was an artist named Baten that was in the group Slums Village.
Yeah, so the first thing is that the reason why Baten ended up on so what happened is that I finally had worked with Baten to the point and got in touch with RJ, and I was like, man, you need to contact RJ and you need to get back with the group, do some work with them. You know, because he was doing stuff here and there, doing solo projects, and then people were taking advantage of him. And I'm like, well, why don't you get back with the group? And then I contacted RJ. I had him talk to RJ, and then he ended up going back in the group, getting back in the studio, working on the albums. You know what I'm saying? And then they ended up going on tour, on the Rock the Bells tour. So one of the stops that he was supposed to go to was supposed to be for Toronto, but he couldn't get into Canada, so he ended up back at his mother's house. And that picture you showed initially of him sitting with his daughter, did you bring that picture up?
Yes. This one? Oops, sorry. This one.
Yeah. That was the day his whole family had came into town from Mississippi and Florida, and I brought Aura over there, and I left. You know what I'm saying? I left. We weren't together at that time. But we were still friends. You know what I'm saying? We still loved each other, but we were still friends, I brought our Aura over to see him and, see the grandma. The grandma kept Aura, like she loved Aura. She still loves Aura, and so I brought her over there to see her father because he was back from tour. And that's him counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3,
Mm-hmm.
And so I took the picture, we danced, me and Baten danced and stuff. I know him as Titus. I don't know him as Baten. I'm just saying Baten just for reference. But me and him danced, and the mother was like, girl, whatever. And then I was like, okay, I'm about to go. I went ahead and left. And so that night, his cousin, I guess he asked his cousin to drop him off around the corner. This is what I was told, and that wherever he dropped him off, the next day I got a phone call from his sister Tina. May she rest in peace. She passed away not too long, like a few years back, and she was like, "Baten's gone," and I was like, "What? What?" And so they found him face down in front of the house that he got dropped off at. He was face down on the ground in the outside. And all the blood had rushed to the front of his face. I guess he had been out there for some time, and his eyes were like, red or black with blood or whatever.
So he was face down, and all the blood pooled to the face area, the abdomen, because he was down. That is called levator mortis, also known as postmortem lividity or postmortem hypostasis, and it refers to the pooling of the blood in the lower portion or dependent part of the body after death. If you're laying on your side, the blood is going to pool to the side. If you're laying on your back, it's going to pool on the back. So he was laying on his abdomen, face down. So all the blood pooled to his eyes and his abdomen, legs, etc. So in the eye area, it may look either black or a dark purple. The skin may look purple also, or black in some areas, depending on how long the person was laying in that dependent spot of the body. That information was pulled up on Google.
And so they found him face down like that. So I'm not sure how long he had been sitting out there where everybody in the house was gone and he was outside laying.
Yeah. So, and Jaguar blamed you for that.
Right.
Correct. And that had nothing to do with that. It's just that he had been abusing drugs for some time, and it just so happened to be the last time he used, and he ended up ODing, is what happened.
Well, at first they didn't know. It was no one knew what happened. You know,
we read the article. It said they had no idea what happened, and so later on, that was discovered what the law.
Yeah, I guess they did an autopsy or something. Because even up to his when I actually had to go and identify the body with the family, they didn't know what the cause of death was, and then it took some time. I think it took almost like a year before they actually knew exactly what happened. I read somewhere that that's what it was finally considered to be.
Absolutely. So,
somebody had beat him up and threw him outside, or what? You know.
What happened to him, and then later on you found out, because at first people felt that it may have something sinister may have happened to him due to how he was found. But
the only thing that happened 2 days later that she's saying is we went over to their house and nobody was there.
Right.
We walked up in that house. We were like, we was ready. If anybody was up in the house, we all walked up in there like, who the fuck is over here? You know what I'm saying? But the door was open. We walked right up in there. Nobody was there. Everybody was scattered like a bunch of roaches.
So it's not true that he was laying there for 2 days?
No, they found him like that next morning at 2:00 in the morning.
Okay, so that's not true. So again, I'm sorry that was said, because you don't deserve that. I'm sorry again. And you said that made you very emotional hearing that, because she also said that you made a altar or shrine of him.
I practice Lukumi, if anybody knows what that is. And so part of Lukumi is your ancestors, right? So I don't have a shrine to him. I have an altar with all my ancestors on it. And he's just on the left-hand side of the male side, and you have the female side, which is my mom and my grandma, my great grandma, my niece that passed away, and on the left hand side is my nephew, my grandfather, my father. You know what I'm saying? All those, so that's what you do when you practice this religion. We give reverence to the ancestors. We don't believe that when you die, you just die. We believe that it does not die; it just changes form. So we believe our ancestors are still here. So we put altars up to them to give them reverence and to speak to them.
So it's not anything like magical or anything like that. You're not a witch. You're not worshiping him or anything like that. It's just a part of what you practice.
We respect our ancestors. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So now getting to this point, a lot of people don't know that, and I was one of those people, that didn't know that you have been around helping and assisting Jaguar this whole time. So let's drift back to the barbershop incident. You were actually hanging with Jag at that time, correct? Was she not coming back and forth from your house and things like that?
Yeah, well, she had came to my house a few times, and then what happened one of the times, that's where she met Solar. Solar had came to Dallas and stuff like that to work and things like that. So one of the things he was doing was making music, and so when she came over, they made a song. They were working on music together, and they clicked. She made a song, "Welcome to the Circus," and everything like that. He did the beat. It was pretty cool, And I guess they were going to. Me and Shaka were on our way to Detroit. We could have a meeting with RJ and Slum and all that stuff because we were putting together the documentary. She asked Solar to go on the road with her to Shreveport, and he agreed. And she was like, everybody was happy, everybody was cool. And so we're like, okay, well, you're going with them, okay, cool. We're about to jump on the plane and go to Detroit.
Now, mind you, people, they had just met. They only knew each other like 3 days when Jaguar asked him to go on the road with her and Gerald. That's why Gerald was so ticked off, because he didn't know this young man, and this young man is hamming it up with his wife and getting too friendly.
We go to the studio and work and do whatever we're doing. Okay, you're going to Baton Rouge, so okay, you guys cool.
Okay, guys, bear in mind that she said they were getting on a plane, she and Shaka, to do their business. Jaguar and Soular were on the road. Listen to what happened next.
Me and Shaka were on our way to Detroit. We had to have a meeting with RJ and Slum and all that stuff because we were putting together the documentary. She asked Solar to go on the road with her to Shreveport, and he agreed. And she was like, everybody was happy, everybody was cool. And so we're like, okay, well, you're going with them. Okay, cool. We're about to jump on the plane and go to Detroit.
Now, mind you, people, they had just met. They only knew each other like 3 days when Jaguar asked him to go on the road with her and Gerald. That's why Gerald was so ticked off, because he didn't know this young man, and this young man is hamming it up with his wife and getting too friendly. So I'm going to replay that part again, because for those who missed it,
break. They go over there, we go over here. So what happened is that we were in the studio one day and we got a call from Goomba saying, or Gerald at the time, we don't even call him Goomba, we call him Gerald. And Gerald's like, you better tell that nigga to get away from my wife. And before that, I guess Shaka had been on the phone with Solar, and he was saying that things were going wrong, and that Jag and her, and they had to come to my house.
Now you guys heard it. Him and her had to come to Genesis' house. Now Genesis and Shaka are not there. The house is empty.
He was saying that things were going wrong, and that Jag and her, and they had to come to my house because Jag needed to lay down. They had to get some rest because something was going wrong. And Boom was like, Gerald's like, you better get away from my wife, tell her.
She was getting on a plane. So that tells me the house probably was going to be empty of adults, right? And Solar and Jaguar were getting on the road to Shreveport, Louisiana. So when she got a call, I'm taking this to mean that she's already on that plane. She gets a call from Solar, and he's telling her that Jaguar got a headache and she didn't get a lot of rest and she needs to rest. So she needs to use her place to rest. Bear in mind, folks, this is the time that everybody was saying that she and Solar were sleeping in the car, because she said on her live that she did not sleep at home. She slept in the car because she was afraid to go home because Gerald was violent with her. Come to find out that Solar made that call for her to rest at Genesis while Genesis wasn't there. This is what I'm gathering from this videotape, this part. So if Solar and Jaguar rested at Genesis, and Genesis and Shaka are not there, but Jaguar got out on social media and said she slept in her car for 3 nights with Solar, was she putting out a false narrative? And if so, for what reason? So Jaguar said she slept in the car for 3 nights. But based on what Genesis is saying, they slept at her house. That's what Genesis is saying. And if they slept at Genesis' house while she was away, and Genesis wasn't there, and Shaka wasn't there, then I have to ask myself a question. What was this married woman doing with this young man alone in Genesis' house for 3 nights? Now, this is all alleged. This is why people were saying maybe something went down between the two of them. And maybe, just maybe, Gerald had a good reason to blow up. And this is why Jaguar was calling her nephew and acted crazy, because maybe he put a good one on her. YouTubers, on that note, I am over and out. Drop your comments. Hit the like button if you like the video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching.